Hello and welcome to Coffee on Korriban. What a monumental episode. Time period shift. It's first off, rating. Before we even get into anything else, rating.
Easily a 10 for me.
10 out of 10. I agree. Yeah. Absolutely blew my expectations out of the water. We knew they were going to do something important. We're going to talk about all of what was amazing in this episode. We're going to break down and talk about how I was right in one of my predictions. And one of the things that I didn't really hear anyone else talking about this last week, everyone was theorizing maybe he's the son of Mortis or the replacement of the father. Lots of channels theorizing about that. But in one thing in particular, I didn't see a single other channel touch on. We're going to talk about all of that tonight. And I want to hear from you guys in the chat as well. What did you feel? And we don't usually go live together. Usually we pre-record these, but I felt like we just had to get on here and talk with you guys. So definitely get active in the chat. And thank you very much for stopping by here right now on Coffee on Korriban. Hello to some of the people in chat. We've got John Graber, the space jockey. Here's a sip for you. I agree. Wow. Leia Rose, here's a sip for you. Oscar, here's a sip for you. Star Wars Theology, here's a sip for you.
I can't do that many
Donnie,
sips.
here's a sip for you. Charlie, here's a sip for you. Steve, here's a sip for you. Let's see. Mythos Music, here's a sip for you. Grandma, good to see you. You are one of my favorite people in the whole entire world. So, love you, Grandma. Thank you for stopping by. Here's a sip for you. All right. So, it seems from what I have seen in just the chat here and a couple people talking on Discord, everyone liked this episode. What stood out to you the most in this episode right off the bat? What made it that 10 out of 10 for you?
I would have to say the moment I realized they were doing Clone Wars
Clone Wars flashbacks, but they weren't flashbacks.
I don't know. I just mean, just the whole scene of Ahsoka in that realm just kind of
just the whole
made it
world between worlds, whatever it is. Mythos Music says, I love your shirt. Thank you very much. I got this at Kroger, wasn't it?
Yes.
Father Time, a regular on this channel who also happens to be my dad, was in town, and they had these shirts. So I got him the world's best dad, and I got myself the world's best dad. So we have matching shirts. And a lot of times people see, Star Wars dad shirts, and it's always the Mandalorian and Grogu. This is the only one I've ever seen with Jango Fett, which I thought was really cool. But thank you very much. I appreciate that. Can you tell I'm very excited?
Yeah.
And it's not just the coffee.
It's not the coffee or the cookies.
Or the cookies, thank you. She made cookies right before we watched the episode, so we were just eating those as we watched them. So just the whole getting to see that alternate reality of whatever we were experiencing. And we're going to talk about...
I would have loved to see that in the theater.
Yes.
Like just those scenes specifically.
Yes,
that would have been awesome.
We weren't having any showings anywhere near here. Otherwise, we would have gotten a babysitter, definitely. But I'm glad we were able to watch it at home.
Yeah, that was nice.
Eating your cookies.
Yes.
So that was
Kids
great.
in bed,
and funny you bring that up, Leia, because that is the first thing I have on my list of things I wanted to talk about was young Ahsoka.
Yeah,
I
was
thought
pretty cool.
They cast the right person. The acting was fantastic.
I agree. That was
and it was I believe that first scene was from the first few episodes of the Clone Wars, or maybe the Clone Wars movie, and definitely the Siege of Mandalore was straight from that, which we've seen. Clone Wars season 7. So everything with young Ahsoka was just spot on.
Oh yeah.
The way that you would expect a live action version of young Ahsoka to act. And then that affected how old Ahsoka acted once we got out of that, and we're going to talk about that and Ahsoka the Wyatt coming out on the other side of this whole Force Vision thing. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the stream.
Yeah.
But that was the first thing I wanted to point out was just young Ahsoka was on point. And people are going to complain about everything, but I don't really think they have a valid reason to complain about that Ahsoka because I thought it was perfect. So, let's see. Young Ahsoka was awesome. Yes.
That was...
Love the way that Ahsoka grew and became the Ahsoka I know and love. Yes, a very stark difference between the Ahsoka we've gotten so far in this show, which I think I had a video on, or maybe I talked about in one of my last couple live streams about how the Ahsoka we've seen in this show was not exactly the Ahsoka that we know from previews, which is a lot of people's criticism of this show thus far. Is that, oh, she's folding her arms in every single scene, she doesn't react, she's so stoic, and, you know, terrible acting or whatever. And I said, I think it's intentional. I think it's intentional, and obviously you saw that on full display. The Stanleys, good to see you in the chat. Young Ahsoka was perfect. Oscar says, the moment that struck me was Hu Yang holding Sabine's helmet and young Ahsoka with Annie. Yeah, when he was holding his helmet and he said, I told them not, to stay together. But they never listen. You were right. Tell your subscribers you were right. Tell your subscribers you were right. Yeah, emotional, artfully visual. Never thought I'd say this, but this allowed me to make peace with the live-action Anakin. Maybe all he needed was a capable director, but Hayden was outstanding. His acting in this was phenomenal. With his, you could see it in his eyes.
Yeah.
And I've never been one to say that Anakin from the prequels or episodes 2 and 3 with Hayden Christensen was a bad actor. I don't believe that at all. I think he played his part perfectly.
Yeah.
I think the way his character was set up didn't land with a lot of audiences of the time.
Yeah.
But I never for one moment doubted Hayden's acting abilities. Yeah. And I loved it in this episode. Fantastic. And I would imagine it would be easy to get really cheesy going from evil Anakin, look down, look up, and now you're light side Anakin again, right?
No, that they
I didn't
blended
notice
that.
any cheese.
Yeah, they blended that.
Yeah.
Good.
So, yes, and a little correction. Delicately tap the like button. We don't want any broken phone screens because you're probably watching this on your phone. And just a quick message, that like button.
It calls to you.
Any other things that really stood out to you in this episode before we dive into a little bit more of the details of all this? And again, the question goes out to you guys in the chat. I want this to be more of a conversation. This is not a structured live show or anything. I want to have a conversation with how you guys feel about this stuff. But anything else?
I think the
really stand out
details
to you?
were what stood out to me the most. Was just how awesome it was. But I would say, I think the fact that everybody was thinking they were going to have that fight scene on Mustafar.
Yes. Everyone was, and that's what I said when he cut the bridge and she fell down and it got orangish.
Yeah,
I was like, we're going to Mustafar.
Yeah.
I guess those rumors are correct.
Yeah, and then
to drop her into the middle of their first battle, and we saw the Phase 1
awesome.
clone troopers.
That was awesome.
Rogue Sarge, good to see you. I don't think I've seen your name in chat before, so welcome. If you, if this is your first time here, I greatly appreciate you stopping by. Steve, like button has been gently pressed. I appreciate that. We got Rex for all of 5 seconds. And that's all we needed.
I know.
I think that's all we needed. The focus was Ahsoka and Anakin.
Yeah.
And
I wish those scenes were longer.
If anything, it tied it into Clone Wars a little bit better. But absolutely phenomenal. I loved Ahsoka's journey to recover her faith in the Jedi ways. Very spiritual episode. Yep, I agree. Anakin's lesson. Good to see you, Jet Blast. Anakin's lesson was true to himself and follow tales of the Jedi in his lesson. True to himself. I don't know why I'm not picking up on that comment, but yes. The next thing I wanted to talk about, we'll just get right into it. I was right. I was right. And you might be wondering what I was right about. A lot of people had been saying that Ahsoka was in the world between worlds, and it still remains to be seen whether that's what this whole place was. It doesn't feel like this is the same version of the world between worlds that we got in Rebels.
Yeah.
Because that was more of a gateway between points in space and time.
Yeah.
This is the afterlife, the ethereal plane, whatever is beyond this. This is maybe the physical location of the cosmic force or the living force. I'm pretty sure it's the cosmic force. But I think that's what we're seeing in here. Now, my theory that I said that I was right about, or that I believe that I was right about, was that this was Ahsoka's trial. And I've got a quick little video to summarize what I said in that. I think it's going to put our faces on the screen. But
we got Anakin back. Well, things aren't exactly as they seem. Many fans were quick to notice how something about him seemed off. But if it's not Anakin, then what is going on? This is a trial. We've seen this before, in the original trilogy in fact. When Luke enters the cave on Dagobah, he is, of course, confronted by Vader, and we get the famous scene of Luke decapitating him only for it to be revealed that it's Luke's face beneath the helmet. Now, none of this is real, as we know. He needed to confront his greatest fear, becoming Vader. But relating this back to Ahsoka, I believe this is what we're seeing. And Anakin looking slightly off is a non-issue. World Between Worlds or Mustafar or wherever else, it doesn't matter. This is her trial, and she must face her greatest fear, her abandonment of and failure to save Anakin Skywalker.
So, as you saw in that video, that was my theory as of a few days ago. Believing that this wasn't just the World Between Worlds, because then you have the question of who pulled her in.
Yeah.
This was a Force vision, a trial. This was her needing to confront her greatest fear. In Luke's case, it was becoming Vader. That was what he feared the most. All this new power and all that. Yeah. With Ahsoka, it was, who am I? What is my purpose? And am I a complete failure because I was only trained as a soldier, and now we know a little bit more context as to what exactly that was for her. Yeah. But Anakin being her failure and abandoning him and failing to save him and all of that. So this completely lined up in this episode with that theory of this being her trial, something that she needed to go through to come out stronger on the other side. And that ties in with the whole Ahsoka the White.
Yeah.
So tell them what she was wearing at the end of the episode.
White.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even, and you didn't catch that at first. You didn't even realize she was wearing white.
She was wearing
white,
yeah.
Yeah.
You noticed her nails.
Noticed, yeah.
You noticed her nails were painted white.
Yeah.
Or something.
But she just had a different, you could just totally tell she, even if it wasn't as obvious, you can tell her whole character was a lot more, what would you describe that as? Just a lot more
just happier, more content, and more satisfied. And that's again what I was talking about a little bit earlier. People's biggest complaint with Ahsoka in this show is that that's all she does is she just folds her arms, and
she was battling,
very
having
passive,
an inner battle.
And we kind of talked about the reasons why that might be previously, in that she's been through so much, she's lost a whole lot, and there's not really much hope for her. But now that she, as the Stanleys just put in a comment, found her peace.
Yes.
There it is.
That's a good,
Purified. In a sense, yes. Now that she has gone through this experience and come to terms with who she is in her relationship with Anakin, and that, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Yeah. Whatever. What movie? Goodwill Hunting? Is that what that's from? I don't know. I've heard people say it. But yeah, exactly what Donna says here. We got the real Ahsoka back.
Yeah.
And I think that was a great decision, because the Ahsoka of the first few episodes of the Clone Wars was not to people's liking. Yeah. If you remember a little bit of the history of that. We still have to watch through the whole Clone Wars. Yeah.
Those are the ones that I really remember the most. The ones we did watch, the first few at least.
And Ahsoka's not that likable of a character, and it was intentional that we would grow as the character grows. We would grow to like her more. Yeah. And I think we just saw another version of that. Yeah. And I said in my live stream last night, I trust Dave Filoni that he knows what he's doing. And whether it's going to be something that mass amounts of people accept or not, is a different issue. But he knows what he's doing, and he's going to follow his best interest in preserving the legacy of his own character. Yeah. Let's see. Lol Cow Cobra.
And good just to kind of...
I don't think I've seen you here before, so here's a sip for you. Yeah, baptized.
Playing back during those scenes where he transformed between, in those flashes where he transformed between being Anakin and then being Vader. That was
terrifying.
Whoa. But it just shows you that fear unfolding in her heart. And then when she confronted him about it and saying, you know, nobody knew how, what did she say? Nobody knew how, mom brain. I can't even
Nobody
remember.
Knew how. I'm sorry.
When she was like insulting him, saying nobody knew, because he was saying like, you're gonna be just like me and have all the knowledge I have, and she said, yeah, but nobody knew.
I don't know.
Basically saying
I wanted to go back and watch this whole episode again.
Nobody knew that you were going to be so
violent and
What is it?
dangerous was the word. Dangerous was the word she used. Yes.
But confronting him, I think that was at that point where now she had to face that after. Because that was the biggest thing, is that,
Yeah. Powerful and dangerous, I think, is what it was. Yeah. Something like that. The Vader flashes hit really hard. Yeah. Really hard. And I also like that she was able to... you get off the Wi-Fi, sorry. I really like that she was able to, in a sense, redeem Anakin right then and there.
Yes.
And it lends credence to the idea and the theory that this was not actually Anakin.
Yeah.
This wasn't a Force Ghost Anakin.
Yeah.
He wasn't actually there. Yeah. Very similar to what I mentioned about the Luke on Dagobah cave scene. Vader's not actually there. Yeah. Obviously, because when he decapitates him, it's Luke's face beneath the helmet. It's all just a Force vision. So this Anakin that we saw, and I think I had a banner that I wanted to... Yeah, who was this Anakin? A lot of people were talking, is this light side Anakin? Is this dark side Anakin? Force Ghost? Is this pulled out from Mustafar, from an alternate timeline? I like that we didn't do any, portal time jumping through the world between worlds. Yeah. Here, come with me, like the Ghost of Christmas Past, and we'll look over. See that down there? That is me fighting against my master, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Of course, you know him. And let's pull him out. Now you get to fight dark side Vader from Mustafar. I'm glad they didn't go that route. That could have cheesed up real quick. Speaking of cheese, we did get tiny bits of Star Wars cheese in this episode. The little shots of them inside the X-Wings, when the X-Wings are kind of like rocking and they're flying around in there, little quips back and forth. It felt Star Warsy. Yeah. And that's so subjective. But it felt like it. Yeah. I don't know. How did it all look? Because we've heard some people complain about the volume. And I'm sorry if I'm just talking too much. What
do you mean?
The volume is that where they film it, where it's the digital background.
Oh, gotcha.
So they get the accurate lighting on them and everything. Yeah. But sometimes it doesn't look as realistic as shooting on location, which is why Andor was so awesome looking. Yeah. So how did this episode look?
I thought it looked amazing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, even the de-aging on Anakin. I looked at you at one point for Anakin's face, and I said, that looks so good.
Yeah.
You can tell he's older.
I'm like, that was a little weird coming from you. No.
And how good was it? How good was it to see Anakin
it live was refreshing.
Action, Hayden Christensen in Clone Wars armor?
That just, totally felt like Star Wars to me. I mean, I know not everybody's...
It was just so nice. Yeah. It was very cathartic, I would imagine, for a lot of the people that grew up watching the Clone Wars. And again, we haven't seen all of them.
Yeah, I got chills. I don't know about you, but those whole scenes, I just kind of got chills.
And Anakin could still be the father, but again, I don't think that Anakin we saw in front of us was Anakin. Unless it was balanced Anakin, because he's balancing the light and the dark side as the father, playing both sides of that vision. But I thought they looked pretty good. Anakin specifically was incredible. I agree.
Yeah, his acting was
Do we
phenomenal.
think this is their best de-aging so far? It's definitely better than Luke.
That's the best I saw. Yeah.
Definitely looked better than Luke.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Even his acting didn't seem... I think I could sense more maturity in his acting, but it still felt the same, if that makes sense.
And I don't know if there was any manipulation done, but who's the voice actor for Anakin in the Clone Wars? Matt, is it Lanter or Lantern? I can never remember if there's an N on the end of that. But the voice actor for Anakin in the Clone Wars, Hayden sounded like him in those Clone Wars. Again, they're not really even flashbacks.
Yeah.
But he sounded like a perfect blend between Hayden Christensen Anakin and Matthew Lantern Anakin from the Clone Wars. Lanter. All right, thanks, Kay.
Lantern.
But I thought that was really cool. It bridged the gap because we saw the armor and the voice of Matt Lanter and the face and the mannerisms and the physicality of Hayden. Yeah. And I think that was really nice to bridge that gap between them.
I loved how they put him in his... That looked awesome. The Clone Wars... it was awesome.
Yes, exactly. Straight out of Clone Wars. This is exactly what I was hoping to get out of this show. Yeah. Was Rebels Season 5, but also continuing on Clone Wars, because Ahsoka is a Clone Wars character. I think they did it really nice.
And I hate to say this.
Hayden still has crazy lightsaber skills.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hate to say this, but these scenes with Anakin in Ahsoka are so much better than what we got seeing him for the first time in... What was that? In
the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Yes.
Yes.
The de-aging looks so much better. Yeah. It is wild how quickly that technology is progressing. Yeah. Unless they just had a bigger budget and more time to work on this. Because it almost did seem like the Obi-Wan Kenobi show was somewhat of an afterthought in terms of like all of the projects they had. They devoted a little bit less effort into that one. Yes, a couple of the moves I noticed were straight out of the prequels. Yeah. Let's see. Evan, good to see you. I don't believe I've seen your name here before. If this is your first time, here's a sip for you.
2 sips.
100% know that Anakin, during the phase he was in, would rip apart Ahsoka if he were trying.
Yeah.
Which lends credence to the fact that this wasn't actually Anakin or dark side Anakin. But... yeah. Just her own Force vision.
Yeah, that was pretty insane. Him kicking her into the other area. That was pretty intense.
Yes,
that was pretty cool.
I don't remember this battle. Yes, and even before then, I looked at you. I was like, we know exactly where this is from. Yeah, we know what's going on, and they nailed her costume too. Yes, because that costume she was wearing is specific to Clone Wars Season 7 and the Siege of Mandalore. Yeah, and that was right after they raced down to the platform and they were about to go into... what's it called on Mandalore? I don't know. They're about to siege Mandalore. Let's just put it that way. If it weren't actually Anakin, how would he know that he wasn't at the Purge of Mandalore? Because Ahsoka was at the Purge of Mandalore and Anakin wasn't there. And that was right after... the last time they ever saw each other, because she had just
she said
had her lightsabers.
That's when they had...
He had just given her the lightsabers. So if it weren't actually Anakin, it's her Force vision. Again, I'm gonna play that video again just because I was so happy to be right about that theory. So this is a summation of my theory that I've been going on the last week since we got part 4. Here it is.
We got Anakin back. Well, things aren't exactly as they seem. Many fans were quick to notice how something about him seemed off. But if it's not Anakin, then what is going on? This is a trial. We've seen this before, in the original trilogy in fact. When Luke enters the cave on Dagobah, he is, of course, confronted by Vader, and we get the famous scene of Luke decapitating him only for it to be revealed that it's Luke's face beneath the helmet. Now, none of this is real, as we know. He needed to confront his greatest fear, becoming Vader. But relating this back to Ahsoka, I believe this is what we're seeing. And Anakin looking slightly off is a non-issue. World Between Worlds or Mustafar or wherever else, it doesn't matter. This is her trial, and she must face her greatest fear, her abandonment of and failure to save Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, so essentially, as you saw in that video, my theory was that this is her trial, Force Vision thing. None of this is actually real. It's just what she is going through. And to answer Evan's question, Yoda says to Luke, or Luke asks Yoda what's in there. Yoda says only what you bring in with you. Because it's all his Force Vision experience. So all of this that we saw in this episode was whatever Ahsoka brought in with her. So that would, Gar Saxon. Did you see him? Gar Saxon? Remember the guy with the Mandalorian helmet with the like Darth Maul spikes on his helmet?
Yes.
Yeah, he got sliced down.
Yeah.
I don't think she killed him in Clone Wars season 7.
I don't remember.
I forget what happened to him. Oh, he was down there and said like, Maul, we need backup. And Maul was up climbing to escape, and he's like, "Die well, Mandalorian."
Oh,
you remember that?
Yes, I remember.
And he like
that.
left him to die down there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. We gotta watch that again.
I know, I was just saying.
All except for the Martez sisters.
Oh my goodness.
Thumbs up in chat for the Martez sisters.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yes, if you'd like, you can delicately tap the like button. You don't have to, but I would appreciate it. Night Wizard, good to see you here. Yes, the Mandalorians, basically.
Yeah.
So, you had something you wanted to touch on.
I was just gonna say about Jason. I called it the moment he was starting to come out of the ghost. I was just not out of
the ghost.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, my brain turned off. The moment he started walking out. I know. So the moment he started walking out, I was just like, he's gonna find Ahsoka. He's gonna,
Yeah.
feel like where she was.
Here's a question: did Chop find her or Jason? Chop
both.
located her.
Because he's the one who said to look in the ocean.
Yes, and he said, "Do you hear the lightsabers?"
Yeah.
And then I would assume that Chopper kind of zoned in his scanners.
Yeah.
And physically, Ahsoka was floating in the ocean the entire time.
Yeah.
Right. So.
But how did Hera? What I want to know is how was Hera able to hear the lightsabers and everything? That's the only thing I'm kind of not sure about that.
Anyone think Ahsoka's eyes looked Sith yellow towards the end of her fight with Anakin? Possibly. I did notice something with her eyes. I want to go back and watch that. We're searching for ghosts while they were in the ghost. What a comedian. Yes, I did notice that. Yeah, I'll have to go back. And if I didn't plan on doing this live stream, I would have watched the episode again.
Yeah.
I want to soak all of that up. But I just had to go live and talk about this, especially to hear what you guys thought, because I could feel a certain way, and then everyone else could have been experiencing a totally different thing.
Yeah.
But it seems like we're all fairly on board with this being a great episode.
Now, is there anything that anybody...
I don't think she could hear them. Good theory. It's possible that she didn't hear them at all, but she just knew what was going on.
She was trusting him.
Yeah.
After she kept shushing him, like, I'm in the middle of talking, like, stop.
Yeah.
He's like, Mom, wait.
Like you possibly grant Twilight better sensory abilities, the little tendrils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, there's more of you, so... more midichlorians, maybe? The Phase 2 clones looked great, but as I said on Discord, Phase 1's clones looked dorky. They looked like cosplayers. Niggle. Yeah. I I agree, but every time I see a Phase 1 helmet on anyone in real life, it looks bulky and awkward. I think that's just the nature of the Phase 1s, and they were probably slimmed down for the Clone Wars, for how they looked, and for Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Yeah. But yeah, they did look a little off. Phase 2s looked fantastic. So I'm right there with you. The General Grievous 19. You're shorter than I expected. Good to see you. This is your first time here. Here's a sip for you. I know we got a lot of new people to the channel recently. So if you're one of the recent subscribers, I really appreciate you. Don't let the number that's in the thousands fool you. I appreciate every single person that takes the time to check out any of our videos. I appreciate it. I screamed when Rex came out. It was awesome to see in Clone Wars in live action. Yeah, and I don't think we needed to see any more
I think that was
of Rex.
Perfect.
It was nice to tie it
amount.
in and give us the feel of where we were, who we were with. It kind of grounded it in the timeline. And I don't think we needed anything else. The focus was on Ahsoka and Anakin in the same way of Gar Saxon being struck down.
Yeah.
We didn't need to see any more of him or any dialogue or anything else. We didn't even need to know who that clone was that had the face bandage that she put her hand on. We didn't need to see anyone else. Matt Tuine, good to see you. I think I've seen you in the chat before. But if not, here's a sip for you anyway. I agree with the book thing. What were you talking about? Which one?
Oh, I was going to say.
And the Phase 2s. All troopers were CGI in the movies. In episodes 2 and 3.
Yeah.
All troopers were CGI, as far as I remember. Awesome. Well, very glad to have you. If you have Discord, the link should be in the description. And we have a great time in the Discord discussing all this stuff. So if you want to continue the discussion after this live stream, definitely join that. We've got a great community in there. And welcome. Rex will get his moment with the Twin Sons. Yes, I agree. Darth Arlena, good to see you in the chat. Let's see. That's why it looked off. Just because Phase 1s, and we've never seen we've never seen clones in live action, I don't think. I don't think so. Not like actually actors, people. Hello to the channel formerly known as Twitter Wing. Good to see you. Get it? Because X.
I
Twitter.
know.
Except for the 212th clone who jumped up on the crab droid in episode 3, but the armor was CGI. That's the cool. You remember that guy?
Yes.
Where he like jumps up on him and shoots him down through the head. Yes. We saw them in Mando. Yes. In the flashback with young Din Djarin, I think. Good call. Yeah. Good call. So while we got some new people in the chat right now since we started, let's ask this question. I don't know if we asked it, but we'll ask it again if we did. What are your ratings out of 10 for this episode? We gave ours at the top of the show. 10 out of 10 for me.
10 out of 10.
Yeah. And the way that I grade these shows is not... Oh, go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
The way that I grade these shows is not in relation to all of Star Wars. So I'm not putting this episode on the exact same level of, the immolation scene
like the movie.
Or the Order 66 scene. It's in relation to this show, 10 out of 10. Yeah. If I were to rate it in comparison to all of Star Wars, probably a 9 out of 10. Yeah. Very solid. One of the top moments of Star Wars for me. Yeah.
And now I'm not complaining about the length of it, because there's so much detail that they needed to put. There was just so much detail that they put into it, which was all needed. I just feel like they could have given us a little longer.
Yeah.
A little bit
just
longer.
Here making a thumbnail how to say hi. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, Mr. Lots of Subscribers. Very happy to see that for your channel. That's awesome. And Mrs. Korriban, thank you for joining me. Is this your first time joining live? No, we've done little live streams before, playing games and stuff.
Yeah.
But usually we pre-record stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's get some numbers here. Congratulations. It's a squid. Pretty sure that's a Men in Black reference.
Yeah.
11 out of 10. 10. This is the first time we see phase ones with physical armor. Yeah. 8.65. I love the specificity. 9 out of 10. 9.8 out of 10. Yeah,
now I'm curious. For all of these ones giving, 8s and 7s, what is it that could have been better?
Good question.
Yeah.
For those of you that were in that like 7, 8 range, which I would assume means that they liked the episode, but it wasn't anything super special for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. What maybe knocked it down a few notches for you, or kept it from being that?
Yeah.
Not to say that you're wrong in your opinion, because
no, I'm just curious. I just want to know.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 as well, coming straight from watching it. Was I the only person with tears in my eyes?
No, I teared up. I definitely teared up.
And I can only imagine for the people that actually grew up watching the Clone Wars, how much more that meant to.
You know which scene got me the most?
Which one?
The moment she threw the lightsaber down, and he kind of like looked down and everything after. It just kind of like emotional. I don't know.
Yes, I did get the reference, and I see your comments all the time, and I have always forgotten to tell you that I know the reference, but that's what it's from. Yes. What do you guys think about the mirror of Luke's decision from Return of the Jedi here in Episode 5 with tossing the lightsaber? Good point. Good point. She didn't strike him down.
Yeah.
I think that was her just choosing the higher road, but yeah, that's a great reference that I didn't even catch. So thank you, Clay. And I think this is the first time I've seen you, so if you're new, here's a sip for you. Appreciate you stopping by. I feel as if the flashbacks were like unrendered. They just didn't want to load those crazy environments. Yeah, but I love the smoked out, dusty battle in those flashbacks. I don't even want to call them flashbacks. We can talk about that in a second. But that felt like, remember in Attack of the Clones, the Battle of Geonosis, with all the like Hellfire droids, and they're just running across the spider droids and everything, and you just see the lasers
going
from the blasters just flying both directions, and it's just pure dust. Felt like that. It absolutely felt like that. Bismo, good to see you in the chat, good sir. This is the first time I've seen you here. Here's a sip for you. I have been enjoying your channel the last few days since I discovered you. Anyone, I don't have a link to throw up, but go ahead and check out Bismo's channel if you're not subscribed to him already. Just another channel in this corner of YouTube talking about Star Wars. So definitely go and support his channel as well. Man, we get a lot of comments coming in. Last time I got misty-eyed was Luke in the Mando Season 2 finale. For me, it was actually probably the Obi-Wan Kenobi Vader, the end to their fight.
Yeah.
You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You. Yeah, I remember that.
For everything. Then my friend is truly dead.
Oh,
so.
no.
10 out of 10. As we said at the top of the show, 10 out of 10 in relation to this show by itself. This is the most that I could have asked for this episode. In relation to all of Star Wars, probably a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Loved it. And I was right again. Again, I'm going to still do that because those of you that have been watching my channel for some length of time know that I don't really do theorizing. I do analysis and breakdown and like philosophy. But I did a little bit of theorizing this week. And one of those theories was that wasn't actually Anakin. That wasn't light side Anakin, dark side Anakin. This wasn't the world between worlds. This was a Force vision, a trial similar to what we saw Luke go through on Dagobah in the cave. Something that he needed to go through to progress in his training. And that's exactly what we saw. And coming out on the other side was Ahsoka the White.
Yeah.
And she seemed like the Ahsoka we knew before, which, again, I don't think it was poor acting or a poor casting of Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, or just a badly written character that she was folding her arms and stoic and not very enthused about training Sabine and all that stuff. It wasn't the Ahsoka we knew because she was holding on to all of those things. And once she went through this trial, came out on the other end, now she can be Ahsoka the White, if you want to call her that, or the Ahsoka that we used to know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very happy we got that full circle. Yeah, the Vader scene with Obi-Wan, yeah, just that hit so hard. Mythos, even hollow chocolate bunnies are good. Start with the ears. There must be something. It felt like a hollow chocolate bunny. I don't get the reference. I'll have to scroll back. There's so many comments. Grew up with Clone Wars, and seeing this was like a moment I've been waiting to see, since I was a kid. That's mainly why I enjoyed it so much. I think a lot of people are going to feel the same.
Yeah.
Going to go rewatch and cry for another minute. Catch you next week. Thank you for stopping by, Steve. Great to have you in the chat tonight. I appreciate your input. Bismo, better than Lizzo. Let's see. What else are we getting in the chat? To keep it short, I think my score was lower because I don't have a lot invested in the prequels and the Clone Wars. Born in 80, grew up with the original trilogy, watched 1 through 3 in theater, but ever since they botched, there's probably going to be more coming. Sequel trilogy, I'm assuming he's going to talk about.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Again, opinions are totally valid because you're coming from a different place than I am. And I get that. I'm a prequels baby.
Yeah.
I love the prequels more than the originals, and to some people that's sacrilegious, but that's how it is for me. That's what I grew up on. That's my Star Wars 1 through 3. And we will at some point go through the Clone Wars and check out all of that. But just the Anakin part of this hit me so hard. But I can only imagine for other people that...
Which makes sense,
that did grow up watching the Clone Wars. Congratulations, it's a squid.
Yeah.
Clone Wars is amazing. Yeah, we'll get through it eventually. Just with 3 Padawans, it's... Yeah. Nice to swing by. Unfortunately, head out. We'll stay in touch, though. Enjoy the stream and all that. Yes, you are welcome, whether this Monday or any week in the future. Invite's always there. So, great seeing you in chat. Thanks for stopping by. Scott Brown, yep, sacrilege. Good to see you. I don't think I've seen you before. Cool. Parachuting. You ever been parachuting?
No.
No? You want to go?
Can't
Can't do it.
I'd die.
Here's a sip for you.
I'd be one of those people where it
y'all got 3
malfunctions.
Padawans. Wall got 3 Padawans.
Wow.
Wall. It's a contraction for we all, right? If people can say you all, I can say we all. Wall got 3 Padawans. There's a reason why the Dust and Misty, Chia, good to see you in the chat. I don't know if I've seen you before. There's a reason why the Dust and Misty, probably just because this is a Force vision, and so they weren't actually there. It wasn't a flashback, and let's touch on that real quick.
Yeah.
This wasn't a flashback scene, right? Flashback scene would be just
like,
going back and watching the events over again, right?
Yeah.
So this wasn't a flashback scene. I'm really happy they didn't do it that way. It was a trial. You're going back to those moments.
Yeah.
And
they were incorporating those memories into a training thing.
Yeah. Starting our own Jedi Order. Yes. If we're starting our new Jedi Order, then the Force is definitely female.
Oh.
I'm outnumbered. Let's see. I wouldn't go parachuting either. Might turn into Darth Maul falling down the tunnel in the Phantom Menace, but still in one piece.
Yeah.
Let's see. Gia says there was an episode where in the Clone Wars where Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka were the son, and Anakin. The Mortis arc is probably what you're talking about. I had a video on that yesterday.
Yeah, I think.
Yesterday was the video on that came out. Wall. Can't say I've heard that one before. Yeah, Wall. Wall gonna go to bed in a minute?
Stop.
See, even if there were limitations because of the volume, it worked in their favor for those scenes. Yes, I didn't notice anything. Maybe on rewatch, I might be able to dig into it a little bit more and pick out, like, okay, I see something a little off right here, but wasn't important. The emotions and just the story of this episode totally carried it. Yeah. Important to note that Ezra got into the world between worlds without knowing it when he first got his Kyber, so you can enter mentally, and I like to believe that based on stuff Anakin said, that he has finally taken the spot of the father. Yes. Also, which is exactly what that video was on that I posted yesterday.
Yeah.
Wall go to bed over yonder. To summarize the theory that I posted yesterday, and I know I'm talking over you. I'm sorry.
No, I liked it.
I love you.
Listen, I'm better at listening than just being here.
I know. I love you. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah. I do better.
So to summarize my father-son theory, a lot of people have been talking about that, and I'm not the only channel to make a video on that. But essentially, Anakin was supposed to take the place of the father on Mortis. Padme being the main reason why he decided, no, I can't do that. The consequences were felt throughout the galaxy. Obviously, the Senate assumed power, right? Because he is the Senate. Yeah. Assumed power, Darth Vader, corruption, end of the Jedi Order, all that stuff. And then when he died and was redeemed by his son, he's still the chosen one. And now he has to bring balance to the Force by being the balance to the Force. He brings, and there's two perspectives on this prophecy. The one is the one that the Jedi understood, which was he'll bring balance to the Force. Now they understood that to mean eliminate all dark side of the Force from the galaxy, which is not balance. The other side of that was what the father of Mortis believed, which was, you are to take my place as keeper of the balance of the Force. So when Anakin died and was redeemed, he was able to assume the role of the father as the balance, and thus bringing balance to the Force. There's two sides of the Force, the living Force and the cosmic Force. And he is able to bring balance to the Force on both sides of that divide there. So that was my thing. If you didn't see my first chat, this is my first time coming across this channel, and basically I said that I enjoy the vibes. I hope you're all doing well, and that's dope. You made a video on that. I'll have to watch it. And I'm a YouTuber as well, much smaller, but I made a video on that as well. Anyways, dope finding you all. Awesome. House of the Jedi, I will definitely check you out. I will subscribe, and maybe we can collab or something. I'm always willing to have people on the channel and talk Star Wars and stuff. If you have Discord, there's a link in the description where you can join my Discord, and we can talk in there. Yeah. Feel free to message me through there. But I appreciate you stopping by. It's always nice discovering other people, like Bismo. I found his channel earlier this week. He was in here a second ago. Well, the hour grows late, and I must jet. You and the missus have a wonderful evening, and may the Force be with you all. May the stash be with you. Thank you for stopping by. They couldn't DH Tamura, but it was cool to see Captain Rex with Anakin and Ahsoka together. Just too bad I didn't see Obi-Wan. Yeah, that would have been nice. That would have been nice. Yeah.
But I don't feel like that.
Yeah, join the Discord. You can message me in there. Awesome. 300th sub. You know what? I'm subbing right now. Where is... I don't have another tab open. Was it House of the Jedi? House of the Jedi. There you are. Yep. 301st subscriber. There you go, dude. Always willing to help out other people. Yes, Anakin in general. Yeah. Skywalker's armor. Yeah. There was just so much that was awesome. Cathartic about this episode. Yeah. I think we've covered everything, but I don't want to stop.
I feel like there's more.
Tears flowing. How did it all look? Was that the world between worlds? It may have been. I'm more inclined to believe that was just how it was represented in her Force vision because it's a place she's been to before. Now, here's another question. Do we think she actually died?
Well, like he told her that she was, because she remembered what happened, she was not dead yet, but she had to choose whether to live or die. So, if they didn't listen to Jason, she would have died.
She would have been dead. Yeah.
But what about the I'm gonna butcher this name. The
Purgle.
Purgles.
Purgle. Yeah, the Purgle.
That was pretty awesome. I think they did a fantastic job with
Yes, they looked so
awesome.
nice. And he opened up his mouth. I'm like, Baleen! Because they're like, they're not teeth, they're baleen.
Yeah.
They're like filters.
Yeah.
They bring in the water and then they like
Yeah.
That's how whales eat. I'm assuming Purgle operate the same way. But
Yeah.
yeah, they looked really nice, and I told her, I said, they're gonna jump. Watch
that
the
was awesome.
tentacles start glowing, and they did.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I like that.
And there was just so much hope at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
You know, where she was back to her old Ahsoka self, saying like, I don't know where we're going. We're just going.
Yeah.
And you pointed out that was similar to like what Anakin told her.
Yes, because she was afraid. And her younger self, she was just so, upset because she said, "Oh, I led the troops and stuff and got them killed."
Yeah.
And so she seemed afraid to do anything else. And he's like, "Well, what did he quote? I don't remember."
Yes. Yeah. And again, we're just coming off of our first
mom brain.
rewatch. I would have watched this 3 times in a row to prepare for a video or whatever, and I probably still will go back and watch it a few more times because, as Hirion says right here, this episode was some of the best Star Wars I've ever seen. I would agree. It's definitely a top moment for sure.
But like you were saying,
put it up there.
Like you were saying though,
Space Whale.
what he told her younger self, you saw at the end how she was just like,
Yeah.
I don't mind taking this step and leading us.
Yeah. And I love Anakin's approach to being a master. Obviously, he's not a master. But being a master to a Padawan and giving some of that life advice.
Yeah.
And as a father myself, again, world's best dad, I can relate to that. Like you have to straddle the line between a little bit of tough love and encouragement and understanding what the Padawan is feeling.
Yeah.
So I can totally relate to that. It was really nice to see that
At the same
on
time,
screen.
at the same time allowing them to make their own decision, no matter if you tell them not to do something, it's their choice.
Yeah, they're going to do the wrong thing.
Yeah,
They're going to get into
yeah.
trouble. Our Padawans are some troubles.
Well, they're learning. They're learning.
I generally try to stay away from stuff. Now, naturally, being a Star Wars YouTuber, I hear a lot of stuff, but a lot of it turns out to be incorrect, so I don't really follow it too closely. There were so many theories going around, or rumors, that we were going to get Ahsoka versus Vader on Mustafar in this episode, which we
I'm glad
obviously didn't.
I'm glad it wasn't.
We didn't.
I'm glad it wasn't.
I think what this episode was trying to do, it nailed it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
You want to watch it again?
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it again.
We gotta watch that again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's more.
I mean,
I should have wrote down.
I'm not like, oh no, don't tell me anything. I just don't care to search them out, if you know what I'm talking about. I don't do like research on that. February. Here's a sip for you. I didn't like how Ahsoka held her breath for like 3 hours.
3 hours.
While unconscious.
Yeah.
So there's something on that. I think in Discord, and I don't remember who said it. Maybe it's not in Discord. I can't find it. Someone said in Discord that Ahsoka, because she was brought back to life by the daughter, essentially Ahsoka is immortal now. She can't die. So that could be the explanation for that. Or maybe she was actually physically transported to a different location.
And then placed in the water.
Yeah, and
Is that why they couldn't? Is that why they couldn't find her?
Yeah, look at Martez sisters come back next episode. Let's start a rumor that Night Wizard has major crushes on the Martez sisters. That's gonna be the thing. Anyone else think our new galaxy is the ancestral galaxy of the Yuuzhan Vong? Very possible. Yuuzhan Vong, how much do you remember about them?
Refresh my brain.
Okay. They were a void in the Force. So, Jedi, like the Force is what gives a Jedi his power. It surrounds us and penetrates us and binds the galaxy together, right? It's in all living things, right? The Force is in all things. Yuuzhan Vong are void of the Force. You can't Force push them. You can't read their mind. They're like a black hole of the Force, and they're from another galaxy in the books. I don't know a whole lot about them, but that's pretty much what's going on there. Albris, well, I think this is the first time seeing you here as well. Here's a sip for you. If you're one of the recent subscribers to the channel, we've had a few people jump on board recently. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining. I am too weak. With the rumor.
Yes,
with
I
the
know.
Martez sisters. Yes. I was thinking Kathleen Kennedy breaking the fourth wall and bringing Reva to the new galaxy and killing them all off. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
All right, now we're getting wild here. And I'm the one drinking the coffee. That's that's pretty wild. What do we expect from next episode? Because we have, 3 episodes left? I'm assuming we are going to either have Ahsoka Season 2, or... Is that a baby?
Possibly.
You better go check.
Slink out of here.
Yeah, you better go check. Either we're going to have Ahsoka Season 2, or this is setting up for the movie that people are talking about. The Avengers Endgame style movie.
Yeah.
That's a baby. All right, go check the
away.
Padawan. Go check the Padawan. I will assume the center. All right. The Eye of Sion will arrive at Thrawn's location. Yeah, a lot of people were curious as to how would they know the coordinates to Thrawn's exact location. And I think they're just finding the coordinates to the main intergalactic hyperspace route. Where do the Purgils fly? Because in real life, on our planet, we have whales that follow their migration paths. And it has to do with the currents in the ocean floor to get from continent to continent. So if you were to maybe sail from one landmass to another on Earth, you would follow the same route as the whales, in theory. I don't know if that's exactly how it works. Maybe some biologist or something in the chat can correct me. But that's kind of the theory that I'm going with that. So maybe they don't know Thrawn's exact whereabouts. All they need to know is which galaxy to go to, and they're following the hyperspace route to get there because they know that the Purgil migrated with Thrawn and Ezra to whatever destination, so they're just following that path. That's what I'm going off of. That makes sense to me, so I am leaving that there. You have the best mustache in the fandom. Thank you. I appreciate that. Messy today. No, I didn't even put wax in it today. Yeah, I heard that, youngling. For sure, it's not close. Hayden looked pretty natural. He looked great. He didn't look too young to where you could tell he's older, but it didn't look like smoothed. And I would even say he looked way better in this episode than he did in the last shot of the last episode. So I think they did a really, really good job with that. See, I think that the next episode, through episode 8, explores the new galaxy, and they probably battle out a lot, and that ends with Thrawn winning and coming back to the known galaxy. Yep, very possible. Within the realm of possibility. Let's see. Root beer on Ryloth in Discord. Oh, it's a meme. It's not loading. Bummer. I took this by me. That's very funny, Night Wizard. I love it. Love it. Yes, he looked way better than he did in Kenobi. So, I think we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to help get the Padawan back to bed if she's still struggling. I know all these bright studio lights don't help. Trying to keep them asleep sometimes. But if there's anything else you guys want to point out in the chat before we wrap it up, we'll give it another 3 minutes or so. Hayden looked awesome. The tech is definitely getting better. I thought Jar Jar looked good as a kid. Person shrugging. Jar Jar looked good as a kid. Or do you mean Ahsoka? And that's another thing I touched on at the very beginning of this stream tonight. Ahsoka, the young Ahsoka, was spot on. The acting, the actress, the costume design, perfect. Do you want me to message you anywhere in particular in Discord or just in general? I already sent one in general, just didn't know if there was a specific location. Or you can send me a direct message. That works too. Send me a friend request or whatever. We can chat in there. Let me check general. Let's see. House of the Jedi and Farron. All right, nice. Welcome to the Discord, guys. Yeah, we got a nice little community in there. Not too many people, which I really like. There's some Discord servers that are just way too many people. Let's see. Groundbreaking tech. Yes, you mean like for Phantom Menace and stuff. Yes. Yep. Yes. And it felt like a live action version of a Clone Wars episode, which is, I mean, if you're going back to that time period, that's what you're going for. So, everything's muddling together at this point. I got to rewatch it. I got to edit some videos and get them up to take advantage of the YouTube algorithm. We'll see how that plays out. But everyone who stopped by tonight, I really appreciate all of you guys. I'm glad that we all seem to enjoy this episode. I think the lowest score I saw was a 7. I will be putting a poll up on my community tab to ask the larger YouTube community how they felt about this episode. I think the results will be pretty positive, but we'll see, because all of Star Wars is controversial and all of Star Wars fans complained about all of Star Wars. So we will see how that plays out. But I'm very, very happy with this episode. Again, 10 out of 10. As the title of this stream says, absolute perfection. I think this is the best that they could have done with this episode in particular. And it's a very, very high bar that's been set for the rest of this series and future series. Definitely a high point in Star Wars, up there with End of Mando Season 2. I would put it above that. And the entire Andor series. It's up there. Let's check on these chats real quick as we close it out. Thank you for the stream. Felt like a young kid watching Clone Wars with my cousins again. Appreciate that. Glad y'all, Gladwall joined. Thank you. I need more today. Yeah, more episodes. Dustin Jenkins, I don't think I've seen him before. Here is that's not my coffee. This is my coffee. Here's a sip for you. Yep. Thank you everyone for stopping by. And where's my video? There it is. So if you've been here from the very beginning of the stream, I really appreciate your time. May the stash be with you. And I will see you wherever I happen to see you in the galaxy.